Liverpool versus everybody. I am once again, thankfully, joined by my friend JAMZ. How you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. How are you?
Good, good. Let's crack in and get on like we usually do. The lineups in the game against Leicester at Anfield. When they
Hmm.
came out, were you kind of puzzled like most people? You saw a lot of midfielders,
Yeah,
didn't really see a designated fullback. Who
yeah.
did you assume would play fullback? Do you think it'd be Genie, or what were your thoughts on that?
I was surprised. I think obviously Fabinho wasn't 100% match fit, was he? So I kind of thought maybe we was going to go with three at the back, and a five midfield or something. I had no idea, to be honest. But yeah, we'd seen Genie do it in the past. Do you remember? I think it was away last season.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Did it
so
pretty
yeah,
good too, I thought.
yeah, he did. But Hendo went in, and I thought Hendo was okay, to be honest. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because, as usual, Hendo tends to get some of the blame in games, even when I think he's doesn't really deserve it. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the lineups, or when I finally saw how I looked in the field, I was a little kind of scratching my head, thinking Hendo at right back. Surely this is something you guys have worked on all this time out. So I'm assuming it's right. My thing is, was Fabinho injured? Or was it an illness? Because, well, I'll let you answer that question first. Do you know if it was an injury or was he sick?
I don't know. I know
Okay.
Virgil was not feeling well, but I can't speak
Right, right.
for him.
Because my thing is, whatever he was, if he was on the bench, I feel like he could have played. And when he come on,
He looked good.
nothing seemed to look like. So that's a little. I mean, hindsight is always what it is, but I just feel like maybe he could have started. But again, that's not the same thing about Henderson. I just think um, I love seeing Fabinho in our team, whether it be
Yeah.
midfield, preferably midfield, but whether it be midfield, center back. In this case, it could have been right back. It wasn't. So keeping on the right back vibe, I want to ask you. I'm sure we talked about this before, but there's still the more we kind of drop points or don't look great in
Yeah.
games or concede goals, people will continue to talk about this Klein thing and how
Mhm.
that was a dumb move. And what's your feeling on that after these few games post shipping Klein out to
Yeah.
Bournemouth, who was a part of a team who destroyed, I mean, totally smacked up Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Um,
what are your opinions on Klein in general?
so when it happened, it didn't make sense. I'm actually a fan of Klein. I thought he was, a second choice. He was the best right back in the league for second choice. So
Mhm.
in the sense that everyone's got a good second choice, I think we had the best. If not, Man City, Darlino, it's on par. So when we got rid of him in January, I was thinking, what are we doing? Like we've got the biggest 6 months in arguably our history, or not history, but 29 years, make or break. Why would you get rid of? And you saw what Klein did in the game against Man United. Perfect, came in, didn't put a foot wrong. So I thought we're in the Champions League, the Premier League. Are you really putting all our faith into Trent, or even worse, Camacho? So it didn't make sense. And then I get it, he was unhappy, but I'm not being funny, but when he was out for a year, we were still paying his wages. So I don't care.
Mm,
Everyone happy. You got 6 months left at
mm,
Liverpool. You're
mm.
gonna play games, and you might pick up the biggest medal you'll ever pick up. Like,
Yeah, and now he can't even. Is it? Am I right in saying he won't even receive a medal
I
because
think
of?
you've got to play 6 games. I think I'm not
Yeah, so
sure,
he
and I
must have
don't.
been pretty sold on leaving, which is
He must have.
listen. I put myself in his shoes and I get it. In his mind, he's thinking, "I'm training. Come on, Gaffer, I'm back. I'm ready. You're
Mm,
not playing me. I want to play. I don't want to keep sitting and rotting and rusting on the bench." So I get it. I get the other side too. Sticking with that though, honest opinion. If
yeah.
he's in that game tomorrow, or I'm sorry, last night, do you see much of a change? Do you see much difference happening in that game?
Not really, because I think Hendo played pretty well, and I don't think our right hand side was much of the issue. I just think we didn't look good in creative
Yeah,
chances. So probably not. But in the long run of things, when we've had to play Fabinho there, it doesn't make sense because I think Fabinho is probably our best midfielder in that role that he plays.
yeah,
So when people are saying, "Oh, Fabinho can play right back," or Milner can play right back, look at what Zaha did to Milner last week. He
yeah.
had him an
Absolutely
absolute
destroyed. Yeah.
destroyed him. And fair play to Milner, he's a hard worker. He's got a footballing brain, but he's slow as hell. And I'm not being funny. In the Champions League, we might be coming against, I don't know, even Arjen Robin if Trent's not fit or whatever. Why not keep Klein? It made zero sense. Man City wouldn't loan out Dalino, so why are we loaning out Klein? It doesn't make sense. I'm really surprised in that.
Yeah, I think why it's a little more easy for me to be okay with the decision is because, listen, as I just said, Klein probably feels like, why aren't you playing me, man? Like,
Mm,
I'm here, I'm fit. This is what you probably have wanted, waited me to. I'm fit. I'm here. You saw what I did against Man United. What's good? And I
mm,
think Klopp's thing is Klein isn't his man. He's
mm,
obviously not a guy who he thinks is can be picked. Because let's be honest, to be true, and I get people saying, why not keep Klein? Amazing as he was, for that season that he played a full season, he was at least 7 or more
mm,
every game. I agree with that. At the same token, as harsh as it sounds, because he's not the only player, but there's several players on that team that we've just moved beyond. We'll talk
yeah.
about them later, but Klein is one of them. I hate to say, defensively, yes, probably the best fullback we have at the club, bar
Mm,
Robertson defensively. But as
yeah.
far as attacking, I think, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this, but I think Klopp feels like, in his mind, young Trent or Gomez if we need to, Milner, and I guess Hendo,
Mm,
surprisingly, or Camacho, do more for him going forward than Klein does. And for
mm,
me, it makes it easier to, yes, you can say that was a silly move, and we can talk
mm,
about it now, especially if we would have beat maybe Palace
yeah.
comfortably and got this win against um, Leicester, no one be talking about. We didn't get it, so we can talk about it. But
Mhm.
I guess for me, I just feel like it's obvious that he wasn't a guy that Klopp really trusted going
Yeah,
forward.
definitely.
And I don't think it's anything personal. I don't think
Yeah,
it's anything personal. In
yeah.
fact, it obviously isn't, because I think Klopp thought, you know what, I do like you, Klein, as a man. I like you as a guy, I like you as a player. You've
Mm,
been great. You haven't been whined about anything. You haven't come on the paper like other players have. I'm gonna give you what you want.
mm,
So if Klopp's human, I think there's probably no matter what he says, there's probably a bit of him that's thinking, yeah, maybe I should have kept him. Maybe I
yeah,
should have kept Klein around.
definitely. Yeah,
But he didn't. But and we are where we are. Let's talk about the game.
yeah.
Scoring that first goal. I don't know about you, man, but I was in the pub watching that with some fellow Liverpool supporters, and I'm
Mm,
thinking we're gonna have a ball tonight. That first
yeah,
goal, how we moved the ball, the 1-2 to Mane, how he broke it. I
yeah.
mean, but it also was very reminiscent to what happened in the Newcastle verse. I don't want to say their name, but the other
Man
team.
City. Yeah,
That they scored first, and you thought they're gonna demolish Newcastle. It didn't happen.
yeah.
So us getting that goal, not really pressing on from that.
Hmm.
Just talk to me in the game what you thought. Are you of the opinion of, oh, it was the refs, or oh, it was the
Nah,
conditions? What
nah.
what do you think? What was the reason we didn't get that game? And do you think, do you believe this narrative of when Klopp takes the team out to Dubai or wherever he takes them, we tend to have this fall off moment that's really, really hard to explain. That much time off, you would have thought, especially after that Crystal Palace game, they would have
Yeah.
been on it, and we just weren't, in my opinion. But I want to know your opinion about the conditions and all that other shit that people are talking about.
I think, yeah, the conditions may affect us, but then Leicester could use the same argument So,
Correct.
and I think the long break, I do get. I think you have some time off. Maybe the momentum can slow down, but I just think it is a bit of the pressure. I think in January, in January we haven't been very good. Obviously we lost to City, then we lost to Wolves, both 2-1. Wolves is FA Cup, so it's a bit more different. And then we beat Brighton 1-0 by a penalty. We beat Crystal Palace by 1 goal after conceding 3, and then we drew to Leicester. So it hasn't been the best month. And if City had won their game, we'd be in real trouble. So I
Hmm.
think something in January has happened like 2 years ago. We've slowed down a little bit, and I'm not too sure. I just want to tell myself that it's over now, because Crystal Palace and Leicester have been 2 teams that we've struggled with out the top 6 in the past.
Hmm.
Um, so being 5 points clear and stuff now, it's not too bad. I can't put my finger on what it is. I think one, we haven't been scoring much, except for the Crystal Palace game. We've got 1 against City, 1 against Wolves, 1 against Brighton, and 1 against Leicester. So take away Palace, that's not normal Liverpool. We've also kept 1 clean sheet in 5 games, which again, if I said that to you in December, where we was on fire, we were scoring goals, 4-0 Newcastle, 5 against Arsenal, 4 against Bournemouth, we were killing it and we're keeping clean sheets. So something in January has changed, and I guess it is injuries. I think Trent, losing out to Trent, and then we've had, I think, bits of knocks here, there, and everywhere, with players missing 1 game, and then obviously Lovren, and then Matip, and then obviously that stretches Gomez. So I think injuries is an issue, and I just think maybe the pressure a little bit. When City lost, it was like, okay, we have to win this. This is probably the biggest game up since Palace 2013. The Suarez Sturridge 3-3 game. So I'm not sure if it was that too. And like you said, we scored early on, and then maybe our game plan was kind of like, okay, well, what do we do now? Do we just chill or? So maybe that was an issue too. I'm just hoping that, because I said before the game, I wanted a 3-0. I wanted a convincing win, not a penalty winner, not a last-minute dramatic win. I wanted to go out there and clean up at home, and we didn't. So, yeah, maybe West Ham.
Yeah, so kind of going on that bit what you said about earlier, just about scoring and things of that nature. Is it easy to say after a result like this that Salah, because we all know what social media is. Twitter is just a minefield after results like this. You would have thought we've gone on a 5-game losing streak the way people react.
Yeah.
So do you think Salah up top is a bad idea, or you think it was one game? And do you also feel like maybe an adjustment could have been tweaked by Klopp at halftime to think, you know what, let's try to get Salah a little bit more involved? Just talk to me about how that looks to you, because obviously I think Mane was the pick of the bunch.
Mane was superb. Yeah.
But talk to me about Salah and just his positioning. What do you think about that?
Me personally, I do prefer 4-3-3. I think it's more effective for all three of them. And last year, how many times was Salah cutting on his left and score? And the whole three were phenomenal last year. Now I don't know if I've got nostalgia to, we were just smacking in goals. The issue was letting goals in, but we were smacking up goals. And sometimes I think with this one, he can get isolated, and we don't really have Naby's getting better and better, but at the moment, not having Ox and obviously not Coutinho, sometimes I think Salah gets isolated. Mane and Firmino kind of come back into the pitch to get the ball. And me personally, I do prefer 4-3-3. There has been games when the other one has worked great, where he's got a hat-trick against, I think it's Bournemouth or whatever, but I'm probably 4-3-3. I think it's more effective for all three of them. Yeah, and I just think Salah's more wild when he gets to cut in on his left.
So do you think against these teams that sit back, the 4-3-3 is more effective?
We score more goals. I think we score. Yeah. That's the thing. We score more goals. And it's fair. I feel like we're kind of playing this now where get the ball, give it to Salah. That's what get the ball, give it to Salah. Whereas we've got Mane and Firmino, who we have an amazing front three, and I don't think we should all sit back and just put Salah up top when we have Mane, whose ability just as good as him. He just misses a few more chances, and Bobby Firmino. So that's me personally. But I often switch. Sometimes I say 4-3, then sometimes I say no, I don't know. So
yeah, it's hard to say sometimes. Mamè, welcome. About Salah. What were your thoughts on that in the game? Because clearly he was. I mean, sometimes I forgot he was even on the pitch. No disrespect, but I just forgot he was even there. Even from his set pieces, and once again, Liverpool continue to waste set piece chances, and it's so frustrating, especially corners. So, because I mean, there's an argument to be made in games like this. You want Salah to step up, but I know that might be harsh. Maybe just because the game, the conditions, whatever. I don't know. Just talk to me about Salah and his positioning. Do you think it fits us best when he's playing at the top of the three, or do you think it's best when he's playing on the wing?
Well, I think Salah has now problem cutting inside, because they did a really good job on him yesterday. There's always one defender following him and another one covering. So it's really hard for him to cut inside from the left now. I think playing him up front, like in the middle, is better, because I think that he's mastering that pivot position, where sometimes he gets the ball and one touch, or he turns and do something with the ball. Because people now figure out how Salah is playing. They're not letting him cut inside. As soon as he puts the ball on with always see someone. I think tactically, maybe we have to. I mean, Salah has to chill down. Maybe let Firmino and Mane do most of the work. And he'll always score because he has a very good positioning.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to Naby briefly, because we must. Obviously, it's a topic that really penetrates the fan base. I think some people. It seems like most people are kind of confused and worried about what Naby. So I'll come back to you first, Mame. To me, I don't think he was awful. Just like the Crystal Palace game, personally, I don't think he was awful. He wasn't amazing either, and I think it was good to see him start this game in a more central area because that's what I was talking about. Having him out to the left just wasn't the best. Um, and it seemed like about the time that he was kind of getting in the game. We'll talk about the penalty in a second, but it's when he kind of got brought off. You can see on his face he was pretty disappointed to have to come off. Just talk to me overall about Naby's game and what you thought about his performance yesterday.
Naby was all right, you know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot blame him for anything, you know. But of course, he's not really doing what he's supposed to do, you know. I think he was very cautious because he wasn't like making some crazy passes or something like that. He was making a lot of backward passes, you know, and that's due to the fact that he hasn't played much, you know. But I like when you know what he can do with his team, you know. If they let him free, if Klopp let him free, let him play a lot with those guys, you know. And exactly when he was starting to get better, you know, I think he was going to make a difference. And Klopp took him out and put in Lalana. You know, Lalana. I don't know what can Lalana bring.
I don't know. I don't know.
Games. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you chime in, James. Your thoughts just overall in general on Navigator.
So obviously, I think Naby's ceiling is going to be, he's phenomenally talented, as we all probably think so. And he possesses something that no midfielder, maybe except for Ox, has, which is that burst of pace and to just attack forward. And I think at the moment, Klopp's probably not using him best. We saw him when against West Ham, and I think against the beginning of the season. I can't remember the first game of the season. Where he played more of an attacking role and he was free and he was running up forward. And so I think that's his role. But I think he's probably low on confidence as well. You know, he's a new lad. He's culturally, he's a kid and he's just been sent to Liverpool. You know, this whole new place, new teammates, language, culture, everything's different. And there's a lot of pressure and being a title race. That's pressure, you know. And there's been high expectations, you know, thanks to YouTube, the transfer feed, the numbered 8 shirt. There is expectations from the fans, which didn't come with someone like maybe Guric, for instance. So I think everyone's expecting him. This game will be his game, and he probably expects it himself. That's why he was disappointed. You know, we saw the screamers that he used to score and the way he beats players. So I think we just need to give him time, and he will adjust. And it's difficult because you're in a season now where we don't have time. We can't just continue to play someone if it's not working right this minute. We're in a title race. Every game's a final. Which doesn't always help, but me personally, I'd definitely stick with him. I thought he had a good game, and when I saw Lallana come on, I was like, "What the fuck are we doing? Why are we bringing Lallana on?"
Yeah, that was. I'm like, Klopp, what are you doing, baby?
Yeah.
Like, just keep Naby in there. He's getting in the groove.
Yeah.
Let me say this too, guys. James, you're the closest of the three to what's going on there, and I'm sure we all watched it on TV, though. Is it me, or did it feel like, first of all, it was beautiful to see. I mean, the stadium seemed like it was packed. But is it me, or does it seem like, and I know it's cold, sub-zero, all that. I get it. I understand. But is it me, or does it seem like the crowd was a bit too nervy in that game in certain moments, which you can kind of understand. But for me, I feel like the players really rubbed off on the players. And I think not getting – let's talk about the Maguire situation first. I want to get you guys' opinion on, was that a stone cold red send off, or do you think that was kind of like touch and go? Mamè, your thoughts first.
100%. That was a red card. It was a red card. You know, I don't know what was wrong with the ref. I don't usually complain with the officials, but yesterday it was too much, man. It was too much. There was that was a clear red. There was the penalty, and then the offside. You know, many things. It's crazy because Mane was going to score that goal. And even if he wasn't going to score, someone else would score because he was going to get that ball. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And Mane was in the zone last night. I mean, he was really, and not just about, even if he didn't score that goal, like he had an amazing game. And that was something I really wanted to see from him because I love mine. I think we all do, especially the three that are talking right now. But he's been getting some kind of knocks, well, as far as from fans lately,
Yeah, he has.
and probably rightfully so. I mean, he hasn't been at the
Yeah,
top of his game. We get a decision making. So to get that opening goal and just his will to just fight through that game, conditions or no conditions, whatever, was amazing to see. JAMZ, same with you. The is that a clean cut red card for you for the Maguire thing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think just quickly, if you look at the rules of a red card, it's two last man clear chance on goal, and they're both of them. Maguire, I'm sure he pretty much the last man, and it was a clear chance on goal, so it should have been a red card. And I think the manager flopped it because it was early-ish on in the game, and he just second doubted himself, which is bad. Because there's people on the side as well, so should have been a red. Should have been.
So how are we feeling right now, honestly? Obviously, it feels like 2 points drop, especially after what happened, and then all the signs we made and all the love letters we wrote to Rafa for what he did. Do you feel like this could be a pivotal point in the game? And do you feel like, honest opinions, guys, do you feel like the Palace game, the Leicester game, we should be worried? Coming to you first, James.
I said today to my friend, I won't be worried till West Ham. Because I do feel like Crystal Palace and Leicester have been two games in the past 2, 3, 4 years that we've struggled with out of the top six. Leicester, Vardy, obviously, and then Crystal Palace. I feel like since that season, sometimes we struggle against them. I think West Ham will be the decider. Away from home, Monday night, evening in England. Not sure what time where you guys are, but it'll be late night under the lights. Again, I want to see a convincing win. 3-0, 4-0. I want to see something like that. If we get a 1-0, it's still great. Obviously, I'll still take that. But, how long will that last? Or, because for my worry isn't the result. My worry is we're giving teams a lot of chances recently. West Ham, okay, we let 3 goals at Anfield. But Leicester, although we were unlucky with the ref, as your man said, Leicester had too many chances for my liking.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
I can't wait till we've got Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, and Robertson back because they had 1 or 2 chances there. The chance where Firmino last minute ditched it back to Alisson, and then they had the chance where Damari Gray, if he squares it to Maddison, there's a goal for them. Instead, he took the shot. So, it's all good saying, we still drew or whatever, 2 points, but against better opposition or whatever, if that comes, what I mean, we're giving too many chances away, but we weren't doing that earlier on, and I put that down to Gomez and Trent not being back. Once they're back, I'm hoping that we should roller coaster on.
Yeah, Mamè.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm not worried at all for the title. I know we're gonna win the title. I don't know why, but I just know.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, man.
And the thing is, unlike what I'm worried about is not like that we're giving up too many chances. Is that we don't have enough shots on target. That's my big problem. Like we don't have enough shots on target. Yesterday we maybe had like 7 or 8 or something like that. I think even less. And that's a bit worrying. And I don't care about the result no more, man. Just want to win 1-0. I don't care. 2-1, 4-3. It's the same for me. Let's just win.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And obviously, we'll get better when everybody will be back. Those Joe Gomez and Trent. We'll be better. We'll be better, like we used to be. Like I think in the first part of the season, especially the first 2 months, man, we were like giving up like 3 or 4 chances maximum in each game.
Yeah, man.
So I think it's just normal. First part of the season was long, very emotional, physical. Now it's normal. These guys are humans too. We cannot expect 100% every time. It's not possible.
Yeah, and on the back of that listen, as much as it hurts to see Martin Atkinson make those ridiculous calls or lack thereof, I should say, he is human. It does happen, and let's be honest, there've been times already that will benefit from calls that probably should have been made for the other team or whatever. But I think as Klopp says before, and people say in general in football, you got to make your own luck. And let's be honest, Liverpool didn't make their own luck last night. We probably shouldn't have needed it against Leicester. And all due respect, back to front, let's be honest, Leicester have some players that I probably wouldn't mind being on our team. You know what I mean? They got some guys on their team that is like, okay, this guy's decent. Ndidi, Mendy, Pereira's good. Chua, we were in for a while ago. I'm surprised that they didn't put Damari Gray on Henderson. I don't know what Claude Puel was thinking there, but I'm glad he didn't because that could have been lights out as well. Do you think it's fair to say that we were lucky to get a draw? Because, I mean, there were some moments there that Leicester had, and I don't know how they're not finishing them. I know one of them was offside, almost was an own goal by Firmino. But do you guys think that we were probably a bit lucky to even get away with that without losing?
Yeah, but they were lucky too. Come on.
Yeah. No, true. But I'm just saying, like in general, like that goes back to the luck thing. But I'm just saying, like, even though we didn't get the quote unquote luck with the penalty and all that red card, do you think we got a little bit knowing that they had so many chances with the help of the ref, whatever? I'm just saying on the course of the game, because Leicester had some moments there, man. They had some moments there, and I was thinking this. Yeah, but
a football game is all about the momentum. It's all about what you do. Like if we allowed them to do that by not scoring a second goal too early, and we could do that like 3 or 4 times. That's why after they were confident. They came back, especially when you equalize just before halftime. At the last minute.
I mean, also, what you just said then about were we lucky? I think it's a game that that shows the importance of Alisson. If we had Mingler carry us in, it could have been 2.
Please.
Yeah, because there was a few things which Alisson sometimes makes easy, like that Firmino. That was last minute touch from Firmino, and Alisson did well, and then even Damari Gray. So I think it's a game where it's nice to be able to rely on our keeper sometimes. We have that ability now. Man United have been doing it for years.
For sure.
They say a good keeper gets you 8 to 10 points. Well, that's 1 point there. Do you know what I mean? Napoli in the Champions League, that was 3 points there in that last minute save. So I think that's nice to know that we have off days. It's about the keeper all having an on day, and that was a game of reflection. We might look back and say, well, you know what, Alisson, you was the difference in that game. So yeah.
I think we have to give credit to Claude Puel. That guy is really good.
Fantastic manager. Yeah, I spoke about it in my video. Yeah.
And yesterday, I mean, in the second half, at least the first 30 minutes, he outplayed Klopp.
Yep.
That's why Klopp changed to 4-3-3.
He's been doing that a lot, though. We got to be honest. Like against this manager, he usually does. They usually do pretty well against us. I mean, the first game, we pretty much dominated the game, and then the keeper had and he had some moments yesterday too, guys, that I was thinking, what are you doing, man? What did you just clear the ball?
Yeah, he did.
So we know that kind of comes with the territory, and same with Van Dijk. As much as I love him, there are moments where you think you're a bit too laxed, like
too confident.
You're like, come on, bro, like you're doing too much now. But you take that with those two guys because in my mind they're, if not world-class players, they're at least world-class talents. And so sometimes you gotta take what comes with that. Moving forward, none of these games are easy, guys. Lots of games coming up against hungry teams, whether it be Watford, United after the Bayern game. Obviously, the next game is West Ham. They haven't been doing too well. Knocked out by who's that? That knocked them out? Wimbledon. I think Wimbledon knocked them out of the cup. The team who beat us in a final years ago, surprisingly. But thoughts on West Ham and just how we're going to bounce back in this game. I'll come to Mamè first. Any thoughts on West Ham in general, the players that can hurt us, and just what do you think about the game in general?
Yeah, I think West it's not the same team that we played
I agree.
at the beginning of the season. They completely changed. I think they're a decent side. It won't be an easy game, but I think we can just go there and just get 1 or 2 goals, I don't think it will be that a hard game. This one was hard. The last one, it was a really hard. The Palace game. The Palace game. I think it was the hardest game we had for such a long time. And this one, I think we will win the game.
JAMZ?
Yeah, I think the same. I think we'll win the game. There is quality in the team. Like you said, like what you mentioned, is a good point. they're a lot better now. Felipe Anderson is someone that I would take at Liverpool, to be honest. The Brazilian, really impressed with him. He came to the England, I think 40 mil last year. He's going to be worth 60 mil now, proven. I think he's got 9 league goals. They've got Samir Nasri, who's come in obviously recently, and he's looking good like the old days. Obviously, they're keeping Marco Ivanovic, who's a great player, who's meant to go in China. Hernandez, you know, etc., etc. So they are a good team. It's away from home, but we're winning the league. So these are games that we need to be putting to bed. I don't know. Everyone says 1-0, I'll be taking them, but I want bigger. I want a 3-4. Just want to reassure us. I want to see, you know. Yeah,
no, I get you. I get you.
I don't want to see us clinching on. I don't want to see us clinching on the 80th minute. It's 1-0. I want to see us being able to maybe take someone off and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, we'll beat them.
All right, give me back to you, Mamè. Give me a starting 11, and we'll talk about Shaqiri after you give me that. But tell me who you think should be starting in that game. Assuming you know Milner's back and Lovren's healthy, Matip. Tell me who you think should be the starting 11 for the game against West Ham on Monday.
Okay. First of all, when is Joe Gomez and Trent going to be back?
Yeah, I think Gomez is going to be longer than we think. Yeah. Say it again.
Gomez won't be back for that game.
Yeah, no, he's going to be out longer than we thought. I think.
What about Trent?
Klopp kind of kept it close, but he made it seem like it was possible. Like he looked, Klopp always says he's in a good way. I don't know what that really means. I doubt he'll be there for the game. I'll say that. So let's assume Trent won't be playing.
Well, I think backline will be the same as this last game. I think he'll go
Hendo?
Yeah, he'll go with Endo again. You know, Klopp.
Really?
Sometimes it's crazy. It seems like he doesn't want to take risks.
Most times he's crazy. Most times he's crazy. You think Hendo will come back? Okay.
With his lineup, I think it's going to be the same. I don't think that he'll play Camacho. Okay, maybe if Milner is back, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Probably. And I want to see in the middle. I want to see Naby, Gini, and Fabinho.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see. But I know he'll go with Henderson.
So you think Shaq will hold the bench?
Yeah.
So let me, before I come to you, JAMZ, in your lineup, let me. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but let me ask you about Shaqiri.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't want to be reactionary and prisoner of the moment. I know we didn't win yesterday. I almost said lost because it feels like we lost based on people, social media. But do you think Shaqiri is best for us coming off the bench? I know that's probably harsh. But let's be honest. The most times that he's given us sparks have been off the bench. They haven't really been when he started. So I'll come to you first, JAMZ. Do you think he's best fit on the bench, or?
Yeah, I actually do. I only think that today I read something. It might even be from your Twitter, but I read something today, and it kind of gave some points about, when he's come off the bench. I just think at the moment he's our best impact player, and I just think I don't know, but with Naby, Fabinho, and Wijnaldum, especially the other two, Fabinho and Wijnaldum at the moment, they probably suit the team a bit better. I think Shaqiri can go missing in games, and when you need to hold the ball, and you can just sit back, and he's not really made for that. I don't think. I think he's more of a player that can come on and cause havoc, which is fine, really. So I'd have the same midfield. Yeah, I think he is more of an impact player at the moment in time.
Mamè?
It's true that he has a lot of impact when he comes from the bench, but that's mostly because when he plays with the front three, the game tends to be overloaded on the right side, and I think that's the big problem. Because when he comes like from the bench, there's someone. Sometimes Salah is not there, or Firmino is not there, or Firmino.
Right, that's true.
So it's kind of different. Because if you see yesterday, everything was going to the right. Robertson didn't have a lot of things to do.
Yeah, that was really strange to me too. I didn't really get that. I didn't get that.
Because Shaqiri is playing, and sometimes he holds the ball, so the everything goes through the right, and even Mane he tends to cut in too much. Right. Even before Robertson comes.
Yeah. JAMZ, you're starting 11.
So obviously Alisson, then Robertson, Virgil, Matip. I'm a big fan of Matip over Lovren.
So we're not. Oh, so okay. Let me.
Yeah.
Real quick. Hey, what's your thought on that? Do you prefer Matip or Lovren, or what's your thought on that?
Yeah, well, I often change because I say I often change, but last year I was more Lovren. But I think what Matip brings, which Lovren doesn't, is one. I think he's less mistake prone, but I love when Matip gets the ball and runs forward.
That's driving. Oh, I love that,
Yeah,
man. I love
Matip
that
is a
about
baller,
Matip.
man.
I mean, he's so big and just. I love when he does that. I wish he did it more. But go
It
ahead.
doesn't
Sorry.
get talking
Exactly.
about enough. People
It
don't
doesn't.
highlight it enough. Like pundit.
People are saying he's one of the worst performers yesterday, which is
I don't
incredible to me.
No, that's
Incredible to me.
crazy. That's not true.
Crazy.
Sorry, go ahead, James.
Yeah, so that's the main thing. That drive forward, Van Dijk doesn't do that. You know, that drive forward is great to see, but also he's an aerial threat. And to be honest, as much as I'm Van Dijk's biggest fan, Matip seems to be more of an aerial threat on goal. You know, I think they both got one goal each. Matip's played half the games, so you often see Matip get so close in corners, and so I'm Matip over Lovren, to be honest. I mean, less injuries, less mistakes. He's a wonderful at dragging the ball up, and I think he's more of an aerial threat.
Okay, and your midfield, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd go for the same. I want to stick with Naby. Definitely stick with Naby. And then I'd have obviously Fabinho. I think Fabinho's wonderful. He's really getting into his stride now. That's why I won't have him at right back, because Fabinho is our best right back after Trent. But when we play him at right back, it's wasted. I think it's wasted. He could be so important to controlling their talented midfield of Anderson and whatnot, Nasri. So I'd have Fabinho in the middle. And then on the other side, yeah, the same. I'd have Wijnaldum. I do like Shaqiri. I think Shaqiri offers free kicks. That's one thing he offers, set pieces. Two, he offers that. You always feel like you have a chance on a free kick, maybe even a corner, because Salah's corners were poor the other day. But two, Shaqiri's the only midfielder that doesn't look scared to shoot. You look at against Man United when he came on. Good point. When he came on against Man United, them shots, both of them were deflected, but he's got the ball. He's like Coutinho, he'll grab the ball and he'll just shoot for the fun. And you know, sometimes you're dying for someone to just get the ball and shoot. But
as the saying goes, you can't win a lottery unless you play. Yeah, so definitely. You know what I mean?
That's what Shaqiri can do. He's confident with his left foot, set pieces. But I just think Wijnaldum is just away from home he's not always best, especially last season. But this season he's fixed up, and I just think he's the complete midfielder at the moment. He's got everything except maybe could add more goals. And then the front three, I'd play obviously the same front three as everyone. Salomon.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that about Gini, because he kind of irritates me sometimes. As you can see that he might have a shot on goal, but because he doesn't trust himself, I guess he'll pass it up, or he's got to do better. I don't know what he's working on in training, because, like you said, he's become more of a complete midfielder. I think right now that's the only thing, as me personally as a fan, that I would want to see more of him, just goals. But I think the whole myth of him, well, not myth because it was actually true for a while, but the whole idea that he's not good away from home is probably something we can kind of sit on now. Yeah. Look, guys, and wrapping up, just let's remember where we are on the table. Let's remember we've only lost one game. That's unheard of for a Liverpool team this long in the season. And it's kind of a reflection, or I should say a mirror image of what's happening with Spurs, just in terms of they're losing a lot of their attacking players right now. And, you know, luckily for them, they've gotten some wins, to my surprise. But for us, we're kind of struggling in defensive situations. But I think we'll be fine. I think we'll get through this stretch, get to the Champions League and bounce back and get back and win ways. But I think even against West Ham, we'll do fine, get a win there. But like you said, James, I want to see some goals. Obviously, I think anybody will take 1-0, but I definitely want to see some goals. Get Salah back in the score sheet. See Mane continue, and that's in the snow, guys. That's in the ice and the hail and the cold. So,
bro, I told you, Mane after January, he started getting good. That's even in Southampton, I think there was like 2 seasons when he had like two hat tricks or 3 hat tricks at the end of the season. You know,
I think he has a record for the fastest hat trick in the Premier League.
Yeah, right? He does.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why he gets better. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah,
I know.
I agree. Man. I was about to say that.
You know, maybe there's that pressure of the African Footballer of the Year too. You know,
no doubt.
It's in January, you know, and Senegalese people put him way too much pressure. Way too much pressure. You know, even on TV, some ministers come and talk about Mane, that he's not playing well. You know, some people who don't have nothing to do with football. You know, and he's very emotional.
Yeah,
yeah. I think more from him would be great.
definitely.
Firmino was another guy for me last night that seemed to kind of fade in and fade out quite often. But I think same with him. I think he'll come on good. And closing, the very last thing is thinking about getting guys in the summer. And I know we had a long time before then, but my thinking, I want to get you guys' opinion. I'll come to you first, Mamè, but my thinking is it's very hard for me to imagine Klopp going after a forward player and that can take Firmino's spot. I would love him to do it because I feel like in a long season like this, it's going to be good and it's going to be something that we can benefit from if we're able to sit Firmino a few more games.
We're gonna have to, because this summer there's the Copa America and there's also the African Cup of Nations.
Exactly.
And the African Cup of Nations starts really late.
It's in Egypt, right?
Yeah, it's in Egypt. I think it ends in end of July or something like that.
Oh wow!
You know, so we're gonna need some players if you want to start well the season.
Yeah, I just think
at least 2 players.
And the thing is, like, they got to be playing. And this is where it comes into as far as That's why I just as tasty and delicious as it seems, the idea of getting Timo Werner, I just don't know if he's going to be willing to come in and realize that he might not be the main man. Now, I don't know if he plays good on the wing or is he more of a central guy. I think he's more of a central guy. I don't know, but we got to get. And I think the more we win the league this year, which I think we'll do. We do pretty good in Champions League. It's only going to get better for us as far as attracting great talent. But I wonder because you got to believe Firmino next to maybe Van Dijk is the number 1 player on the team sheet every week. You know what I mean? It's just like those 2 guys I feel like are very central to what we do. Quite literally, the backbone,
but
kind of the middle.
Aren't you guys worried that if we win the league and we maybe do a very good run in the Champions League, one of the front 3 guys would leave?
No, I think the opposite. I think if we fail to win the league, we might lose Salah. I think I've always felt like the reason we've lost Mascherano, Torres, Suarez, Sterling, even Coutinho, is because players have felt that you don't win anything at Liverpool. You don't win the big things at Liverpool. And when I used to look at, I don't know, Sergio Aguero or Wayne Rooney or all these wonderful world-class players that stuck around at English clubs for their whole Didier Drogba, whatever, was because they constantly won trophies. Drogba never felt like he needed to go to Madrid or Barca because he was winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues but Fernando Torres felt like he had to go because they didn't win anything. Coutinho won nothing in 5-6 years. So I feel like if we fail to win the league, how can we keep someone like Salah, who's going to go on and get another 30, 40 goals? How can we keep him when Madrid are coming in like, yo, we'll give you the league, we'll give you the Champions League, we'll give you the Spanish. Already, Coutinho's won like 3, 4 trophies. And, that's my fear. My fear is if we fail to win the Premier League, we're going to be called bottlers, this, that. How do we keep Virgil van Dijk for 2, 3 more years if we don't win anything? That's my fear.
Yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is, some of these players, they stayed because they knew they can win something this year.
Yeah.
Once it's done, when those big teams come calling, I know it's cliche, but if Barca come calling for Salah or Real for Mane or something like that, or even Firmino, I think they will leave. At least one of them. I don't know. I just feel it because they achieved something already, so now they can go. Like you win the Premier League, and you go to La Liga.
I hope you're wrong, but I get that.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Because Mane, I know he talks a lot, but Real wanted him.
Yeah.
Zidane spoke to him.
Zidane wanted him.
He agreed to go. He really agreed to go. And that was before.
Go ahead, James.
I feel it's a good point. Oh, sorry, carry on. Sorry.
And even Salah too. I talked to an Egyptian journalist, and he was telling me the same, that the guy, obviously there was nothing concrete, but he had some talks. He was about to go to Real too.
In other words, his head was turned.
Yeah.
And you can't. I mean, you can't. Let's be honest. As much as we don't like to hear, you can't really be mad at these players for doing it. But again, it's up to Liverpool to maybe keep their head turned this way. And the only way we can do that is by winning the league this year, which I believe in my heart is going to happen. I think it's already done. But if we do that, continue to do well in Champions League, and again, if we are losing these guys, I think I trust Mike Edwards. I trust Klopp to bring in guys that can come in and not necessarily be replacements, but be guys that we can actually build off and do some similar things. So I'm not too concerned.
Of course. I think the best thing is always to strengthen the squad.
Yeah.
Bring in someone like Van Dijk and Alisson. Of course, some people would be like, I think I should stay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good point. It is a very good point, especially with Mane, because I heard his head got turned. Yeah. I never trust any player 100%, especially if they're
never. It's their job, man. Yeah. It's like someone calls you for a better job, better pay.
Yeah.
Better exposure. I hate to say it, but it's true.
It's true. So, I think,
they don't care.
Yeah, I think because there's going to be reasons that there's always things that we can't give them. So, for instance, Liverpool, it's quite a shit city, compared to London.
Yeah, that's the problem, man.
Small. If you're a millionaire, there's not much to do in Liverpool. There's not many fancy restaurants. There's not many cinemas, shopping malls. The smaller thing we can't give Manchester and London does. That's one thing. Two, the weather, the culture. Obviously, now that we do have a lot of African players, the weather is shit in England. It's cold, it's damp, it's wet.
Too.
Yeah, so for South American players, for African players, obviously there's more persuasion to go to a warm. They're the two things we can't give them. But what we can give them at the moment is, if you're looking at the level of Liverpool now, how many clubs are better than Liverpool? Like you said, Van Dijk, Alisson, except for Barcelona. If I was Mane now, I would look at Madrid and look at Liverpool and think, what's the massive difference? At the moment, I'm in a team.
Well, that's true.
You look at
Coutinho.
Yeah, prime example.
Look what happened to him.
Yeah, and you look at Mane now. Mane is still struggling with consistency. If he has them type of 3-4 games on the bounce at a team like Madrid, they drop him. Whereas in a team like Liverpool, we never drop him. Never drop him. And I think there's some reasons. I just think we keep the players happy. There's a nice mix of players. You look at, we've got Naby. That's Naby and Mane and Salah, and all of them reasons. I just feel like as long as we win the league, win trophies, we should be able to keep these players. And they're going through their peak now. 26, 27, 28, 29. These are their best years of their life. And I'm just hoping that these are players that think if they go somewhere else, they may not play to their strengths. Everyone that goes to Barca plays behind Messi. And look at, people tend to fail. You look at Real Madrid, you look at, even players that are failing there in Bale and Asensio and Isco. And, I just hope we can keep them if we win the league. I think it's important that we win the league.
Yeah.
Yep. Very important. Very important.
Yeah, so we got a few more days. It's going to seem like longer than that to Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday, yeah.
Monday night. So there's some other good matchups going up. Obviously, Arsenal playing that team, so hopefully Arsenal can do some damage. Arsenal back in the top 4.
Yeah,
so just they got to play for,
man.
Yeah, man.
They'll fall again, man. They just need like a.
Probably.
I'm telling you, Arsenal, man.
Yeah, we'll see. JAMZ Mamè, thank you guys so much. I know it was late notice. Really appreciate you guys making time.
Let's really try.
Yeah, always. Let's try to get back together at some point between now and after the game. I'll be in touch with you guys.
Yep,
sounds good. Great. Thanks.
Okay, see ya.